Picture this. You're at a red light. A brand new truck pulls up next to you, lifted chrome wheels, blacked out windows, the kind of thing that looks like it belongs on a billboard. You glance over. The driver's wearing a work uniform. Nothing wrong with that. But something doesn't add up. That truck sticker's at $80,000, and you know this guy. He makes less than you do. So how is he affording it? Here's the thing, he isn't. Not really. He's doing something much more interesting than affording it. He's surviving it. And there's an entire system built around making that distinction invisible. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how that system works. And once you see it in dealership ads in your neighbor's driveway, maybe even in your own monthly budget, you can't unsee it. Let's start with the number that should make every American pause. The average new car payment in America has crossed $700 a month. $700. Let that sit for a second. Not for a luxury vehicle, not for a sports car. That's the average for a regular car bought by a regular person at a regular dealership. $700 a month just to have something to drive to work. But that's just the average. For trucks and SUVs, which is what most Americans are actually buying now, payments routinely hit $900. $1,200 a month is not unusual, and these aren't short loans anymore. 6 years, 7 years, sometimes 8. $1,200 a month for 7 years. That's over $100,000 in payments for something that'll be worth maybe 12 grand when the last check clears. Read that again. $100,000 in payments. $12,000 left at the end. That gap between what you pay and what you own is what this video is about. And it's bigger than most people ever stop to calculate. Now, before we go any further, the people signing these loans aren't secret millionaires. They're not crypto whales or trust fund kids. They're teachers, nurses, office workers, contractors. Regular people with regular jobs who looked at a monthly payment number and told themselves it was manageable. And the system let them believe that. The system was engineered deliberately, expensively to make them believe that. So let's take the machine apart. The first gear is the loan term. And this single shift, quietly happening over the past 2 decades, has done more damage to American household wealth than almost anything I can name. 20 years ago, a standard car loan ran to 4 years. That was the expectation. You bought the car, paid it off in 4 years, moved on. Clean, simple. That world is gone. Today's default is 6 to 7 years. Some lenders are pushing 8. 10-year auto loans are starting to appear, which sounds like a joke until you realize it isn't. 10 years. Think about where you were 10 years ago, the phone you had, the job you had, the version of your life you were living. A 10-year car loan would still be running. Here's why the industry loves longer terms. Buyers don't shop by total cost. They shop by monthly payment. That's the only number that feels real in the moment, not the sticker price, not the interest rate, not what they'll have paid when it's finally done. Just the monthly. So when a dealer stretches a $60,000 loan from 4 years to 8, the monthly payment drops by hundreds of dollars. Suddenly, the truck fits the budget. The buyer feels smart. The dealer closes the sale. But nobody in that finance office adds up what just happened. Same $60,000 truck. 4-year loan at 7% total payments land around $72,000. Stretch it to 8 years at the same rate, you pay closer to $87,000. That's $15,000 extra dollars, just for the privilege of a lower monthly number. The truck didn't get cheaper, the math just got longer and quieter. And that's only the interest. The real trap is what a long loan does to your position over time. Cars lose value fast, faster than most people expect when they're standing in a showroom under those bright lights. A new vehicle drops roughly 20% the moment you pull off the lot. By year 3, it's worth maybe 55% of what you paid. By year 5, less than half. Now stack that against an 8-year loan. For the first 4 to 5 years of that loan, you owe more than the car is worth. You're underwater, stuck. You can't sell without writing a check to cover the difference. You can't trade in without dragging that loss into whatever comes next. This is called negative equity. And once you're in it, you're not just in debt, you're in a current that keeps pulling you deeper. Here's how the cycle actually plays out. Someone buys a new truck for $55,000 on a 7-year loan. 3 years in, they owe $40,000. But the truck is only worth $28,000. They're $12,000 underwater. Life shifts, they need more space, or the payments are grinding them down, or they just want something newer. So they walk back into the dealership. The dealer smiles and says, "No problem. We'll roll that $12,000 right into your new financing." Now they have a brand new truck, a fresh 7-year loan, and they're starting $12,000 in the hole before they leave the parking lot. New truck, bigger trap, and the dealer just made money twice. I call this the rollover ratchet. Every trade-in clicks the debt one notch tighter. You feel like you're moving forward because you're in something new, but financially, you're descending, and each ratchet click makes it harder to climb back out. The only exits are painful enough that most people just keep rolling forward. Dealers know this. A customer trapped in the rollover ratchet isn't just a sale, they're a subscription. I want to stop here for a second and be straight with you. I went through a version of this in my late 20s. First time making real money, and I decided I deserved something that reflected it. Bought a truck I had no business owning. The payment looked manageable on paper, but between that payment, insurance, and feeding an engine that got 16 miles per gallon on a good day, I was running out of month before I ran out of bills. Every single month. Money coming in, nothing accumulating, just this expensive machine sitting outside my apartment consuming whatever margin I had built. It took me 2 years and one genuinely uncomfortable moment of honesty to climb out. I left real money on the table that I will never recover. And not one person, not the dealer, not the finance guy, not anyone sat me down and ran the real numbers before I signed. They handed me the keys and said, "Congratulations. That's what this is." The conversation nobody had with me. So, let's run those real numbers. Because this is where most people's understanding of car ownership completely falls apart. 2 people. Same income, same age, same moment in life. One buys that $55,000 truck. The other makes a different call. The truck buyer takes a 7-year loan at 6%. Monthly payment comes out around $800. Over the life of the loan, total payments reach roughly $67,000. But that payment, that $800, is just the entry fee. It's the cover charge. The real bill comes after you walk in the door. Insurance. Full coverage on a $55,000 truck. Comprehensive collision gap insurance runs $250 to $300 a month. Not negotiable if you're financing. The lender requires it. Over 7 years, that's another $21,000 to $25,000. Gone. Nothing to show for it. Fuel. A truck averaging 15 miles per gallon in real driving conditions. Not the highway number on the sticker, the real number with gas between $3 and $5 a gallon. Figure, $350 to $400 a month for a normal commute. Over 7 years, another $29,000 to $33,000. Burned, literally. Maintenance and repairs. This is the one that blindsides people. A brake job on a modern truck, not a performance upgrade, just normal wear, runs $800 to $1,200. Not if it happens. When it happens, transmission work can hit $5,000. If you're unlucky enough to need major engine work, you're looking at $10,000 or more. And most people carrying these payments have zero emergency fund set aside for repairs, which means every surprise bill goes straight onto a credit card at 20% interest. Budget conservatively $15,000 over 7 years for maintenance, probably more. Now add it all up. $67,000 in loan payments, $23,000 in insurance, $31,000 in fuel, $15,000 in maintenance. Total transportation cost over 7 years, $136,000. At the end of those 7 years, person 1 owns a vehicle worth roughly $12,000 to $14,000. $136,000 spent, $14,000 owned. That's not a car payment. That's a wealth incinerator with heated seats and a backup camera. Now person 2. Same $800 a month, but instead of handing it to a lender, it goes into a basic index fund, averaging 8% annually. No loan, no gap insurance, no premium fuel bill, just consistent monthly contributions into something that grows. After 7 years, $72,000. Same income, same 7 years. Person 1 ends up with a depreciating truck and an account balance that never grew. Person 2 ends up with $72,000 and genuine options, a down payment, an emergency fund, a head start on retirement. That gap between those two outcomes, that's the real cost of a car payment. Not $700 a month, not even the $136,000 total. It's the future you don't build while you're busy funding something that loses value every single day you own it. Now, knowing all of this, people still find a way to make these payments work month to month. So, let's talk about how, because this is where it gets genuinely dark. It happens in levels, and each level is more serious than the one before it. The first level is lifestyle compression. These are the people who treat the car payment like a mortgage, non-negotiable, everything else bends around it. Smaller apartment, roommates longer than planned, packed lunches every day, no vacations, every discretionary dollar redirected to protect one monthly number. They're making real sacrifices, real ones just pointed at something that loses value instead of building it. The second level is the credit card shuffle. Insurance, fuel, repair bills, all going on, revolving credit to free up cash for the car payment. On paper, the budget balances. Underneath, high-interest debt compounds quietly every month. The hole gets deeper, even when it feels like you're keeping up. It's like bailing water from a boat with a coffee cup. Technically, you're doing something, but you're still sinking. The third level is the second job loop. People working nights and weekends specifically to fund their vehicle. Delivering food, driving rideshare, using the expensive truck to earn the income needed to pay for that same expensive truck. It's a closed loop, and the truck is simultaneously the job and the reason you need one. There's something almost poetic about that. Not in a good way. The fourth level is where it stops being an inconvenience and starts being generational damage. People pulling from retirement accounts, borrowing against home equity, liquidating the two assets that are supposed to fund the rest of their lives just to cover a down payment or wipe out negative equity from a previous vehicle. Your retirement account isn't just money. It's decades of compounding that cannot be replaced once it's gone. Pull $50,000 from a retirement account at 42 to cover a car deal, and you're not just losing $50,000. You're losing what that $50,000 would have become by 65. At 8% growth, that's roughly $300,000 in future wealth erased to fund a depreciating asset. Your home equity is the one appreciating asset most Americans actually own. When that starts getting tapped for car deals, the foundation of your financial life is being used to prop up a liability. That cost never shows up on the window sticker, but it compounds just like interest, just in the wrong direction. For decades. And here's what makes all of this worse. It's almost never just one vehicle. The average American household now has more registered vehicles than licensed drivers. 2 car payments running at the same time is normal. 3 isn't unusual. Think about what that actually means. Dad has his work truck at $900 a month. Mom has the SUV at $800. Maybe a third vehicle for a teenager, or weekends at $500. That's $2,200 a month in car payments alone, before a single dollar of insurance, before fuel, before any repair. For a household earning $80,000 a year, that's 33% of gross income consumed by vehicle debt. Housing experts say don't spend more than 30% of income on your mortgage. These families are spending more than that just on cars. And the psychological effect is its own trap. Managing 2 or 3 car payments becomes a skill. People get good at tracking due dates, juggling minimum payments, timing trade-ins. They feel competent, even in control. But they've mistaken the ability to manage complexity for the wisdom to avoid it. They're not winning. They're just very good at not losing fast. I've seen families celebrate paying off one loan while signing 2 new ones the same afternoon. They measure success by keeping all the plates spinning, not by asking whether the plates needed to be spinning at all. So, why does this keep happening? The math isn't hidden. Anyone can sit down and run these numbers. So why don't they? Because this was never a math decision. It's an identity decision. The automotive industry cracked this code decades ago and has spent billions building around it. They don't sell cars anymore. They sell a version of you, the version that made it, that worked hard enough to deserve this, that has something visible to show for it. That truck climbing a mountain in the commercial isn't advertising transportation. It's advertising a self-image. Capable, successful, free. And when your sense of who you are gets tangled up in what you drive, rational analysis doesn't just weaken, it short-circuits entirely. Suggest a reliable used car to someone making $1,200 truck payments, and they don't hear financial advice. They hear you don't deserve nice things. They'll defend that payment with the same energy they'd defend their own name. Psychologists have a term for when someone develops deep loyalty to the thing that's actively harming them. I'll let you draw the parallel. The dealership understands this better than most people understand themselves. The entire sales process is engineered around neutralizing rational objections before they can take hold. Payment too high, extend the term. Worried about reliability? Here's a warranty you can fold right into the loan. Nervous about depreciation? Don't worry, just trade it in when you're ready for something new. Every rational objection. A financial product designed to dissolve it. And every one of those products makes the total cost more expensive while making the monthly number feel more manageable. That's the system. The whole thing laid out. And now you can see it. So where does this leave you? This isn't about never buying a nice car. It's not about punishing yourself for driving something that embarrasses you. It's about one thing: knowing the real number before you sign anything. Not the monthly payment, not the sticker price. The total cost of ownership over the entire loan term, payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, written down as a single number. Then hold that number next to what it could do somewhere else. Because that number isn't just dollars. It's the emergency fund that doesn't exist when the transmission fails at year 4. It's the retirement contribution you skipped for 7 consecutive years. It's the down payment on a house that never came together because the debt load was too heavy. It's the options you didn't have, the ones you didn't even know you'd given up because the payment came first every single month. A vehicle that moves you forward without consuming your financial future isn't a compromise. For most people in this economy right now, it's the highest leverage financial decision available to them. The truck loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. Every day after that, it's worth a little less. The question was never whether the truck depreciates. The question is whether your net worth goes down with it. If this hit harder than you expected, send it to someone who's about to sign something. And if you want to keep thinking about money this way, clearly without the noise, make sure you're subscribed. We're just getting started.